Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel, and guess what? Today is Tuesday. Tuesday usually means big things in the video game world. It, of course, is the time of the week where announcements are made, trailers are released, updates are pushed through, and generally there are lots of things to discuss. Well, on the menu this week in the Call of Duty world is the 80s Action Heroes trailer. Basically, this is a voice-acted cinematic trailer that shows off 2 new skin bundles that'll be coming to the shop in the coming days, and this really got me thinking, what in the fuck is happening to the Call of Duty franchise anymore? Like, don't get me wrong, I like this idea for the COD franchise in general. Like, on paper, incorporating licensed 80 action IPs into the game is cool. It's kind of reminiscent of when they added in Leatherface and Jigsaw and Michael Myers previously, but paid content is becoming incredibly frustrating for me, and I'm sure a lot of you as well. And it's not because I want these skins to be free, it's much more deep than that. Paying for stuff like this, I can understand, right? There are licenses involved, hands need to be shook, terms need to be agreed upon. It's a pretty big deal when you have these big crossovers between gaming stuff and movies, and I get it, right? I really do. But what about the non-paid content? What about things like Dark Matter, for example? Activision, Treyarch, Raven Software, all these guys, they're working so hard to put together trailers with Rambo in them as part of these $1 million deals, but the hardest to earn camo in the game looks like this 6 months after launch. It's not even like this is a new problem either. I mean, DM Ultra was exploited before launch and people were able to see what it looked like, and even back then it didn't cover most parts of a lot of different weapons, and yet Treyarch has done absolutely nothing. 186 days. This has been a problem for us. More than half the Black Ops Cold War lifecycle is now over, and the pinnacle progression reward in the game is still completely busted. I think this really does go to show just how much of a cash grab Call of Duty is these days, at least when it comes to certain elements of the franchise. Sure, they put lots of time and effort into things like the CDL, weapon design is honestly top-notch, balancing is tricky, but most of the time they get it right with a few outliers. The core foundation of COD is there year after year, but the other stuff, the little stuff, the things that really make up the flavor of the Call of Duty franchise, they are what fall by the wayside as of late. We've discussed countless times here in the channel that Call of Duty's biggest asset is also its biggest liability. With annual releases and a never-ending crunch period for developers, games are released with less and less content, and they're also releasing with more and more problems than ever before. I genuinely think this is due to a number of factors. Number A, absolutely nobody at Treyarch plays their own game, or at least at any serious level. Right? Because if they did, all these little problems wouldn't exist, because they, as developers, would be experiencing the same issues that we as players face on a daily basis, right? So I genuinely don't think that anybody at Treyarch, Raven, or any of the other studios play Black Ops Cold War in any serious capacity. Number B, absolutely nobody that works at Treyarch, Raven Software, and probably even Infinity Ward has unlocked Dark Matter, or even like watched a video with Dark Matter in it, because if they, for example, imagine yourself as like a Treyarch dev, like one of the higher ups at Treyarch, you work on the game all day, you go home, you play the game at night, and I understand there needs to be a separation between work and play, so I can understand maybe why a lot of people don't want to work on the game all day, and then go home and play it even more. I kind of get that, but just picture this for a second. You're a higher up at Treyarch, you work on the game all day, you go home, you start playing, you finally unlock Dark Matter. It's been 6 months, that's kind of reasonable, right? You finally unlock Dark Matter, you go to put it on the Krieg, one of the most popular weapons in the CDL, and it fucking looks like this. Like, what the fuck is this? This is the best camo in the game. This is what we get for hours and hours and days of grinding. It covers up like the side of the gun, that's it? Like, Treyarch, what the fuck? And number C, I think that years of rushed content and crunched dev schedules have caused a ton of apathy within the development team and within the player base. I think that the developers are now just so used to releasing games that are incomplete because they don't have time to actually complete them, that they just don't care anymore, and they also know they can get away with it, right? Dark matter doesn't work? Oh, well, maybe we'll fix it later. Probably not. Combat record not tracking things properly? Oh, well, maybe we'll fix it later. Who knows? It's been like such this vicious cycle of incompetence mixed with complacency from both the developers as well as the player base, and this is what has led Call of Duty to become what it is today. Activision knows that people are going to continue to buy the game. They know that the traditional multiplayer is more or less just a gateway mechanic now to try to push people into Warzone, and they also know that the core game can be a massive buggy mess so long as Warzone is still popular on Twitch and so long as people keep blowing their cash on marijuana ghillie suits, anime trucks, and John Rambo skins. And I suppose I should be clear, just to be clear, like, I don't blame these people. I think people should be allowed to spend their money as they see fit, and if they're spending that money within their favorite video game, then I'm all for that. But the point I'm trying to make here is that slowly over time, Call of Duty has been able to deteriorate into what we see today, and it's actually really sad. All this time and effort is being put into making extra paid content for the game. Meanwhile, when it comes to the content that we initially paid for when, we bought the game, when we purchased the game in the first place, Activision and Treyarch and Raven and everyone else, they're just like, oh, you guys are still here? Why aren't you playing Warzone yet? You still play, this guy's playing multiplayer. These guys were playing multiplayer in 2021. Like, get low these guys. Like, what happened to COD? Like, what happened to COD? I don't know. I find this to be so genuinely frustrating. I wish we had more open lines of communication with the developers. I wish that if Call of Duty has to continue on with the annual release cycle, that these annual releases would actually be of the same quality as the older titles. It's basically just a situation of death by 1,000 cuts. So many little things get overlooked in Call of Duty these days, and I genuinely think that if developers actually played their own game for more than 2 days of playtime per year, that things would be a lot better. I remember back in the day, they would actually hire these developers that were actually just super hardcore fans that would be Prestige Master year after year after year and 3 KDs, and they knew this, they knew that. Like, is there a single COD dev that has like a public account that has more than like 2 days of playtime in any given COD anymore? Like, when's the last time a Call of Duty developer, Treyarch, Infinity Ward, I don't care, has hit max rank in the game? I don't know. I mean, they don't talk about it. I'm sure maybe some of them, but it's maybe like 1 or 2 people at the studio. Does anybody at Treyarch have dark matter? I highly doubt it, because I feel like they would have this fixed like right away, because he'd go, oh, holy shit, this is actually awful. It's actually impacting my gameplay. And then they'd actually, do something about it. I don't know. There are so many glaring, obvious issues with the game right now, but hey, at least we got a couple new $20 bundles coming in the shop in the next few days. That's pretty exciting. I mean, there is going to be a new update as well. I shouldn't gloss over that. There is going to be a new update, a new balance update, which is apparently going to adjust snipers. Fingers crossed they buff the ADS speed, but add flinch to compensate. That would be sick. But we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. I'll let you guys know exactly what's going on with that update once we actually get the patch notes, which should be coming relatively soon. But until then, I hope you guys all enjoyed this video. I don't know. I saw that trailer today, and while the trailer is cool, and I'm sure people are going to enjoy playing with the new skins and whatnot, because it's 80s, it's action heroes, it kind of ties into Warzone and the Cold War multiplayer. Like, I get it. I get people are going to buy the stuff, but I don't know. It's just kind of like frustrating that they pay for like voice acting and licensing and like all this stuff to put together these trailers for these $20 bundles. Meanwhile, dark matter looks like this. I don't know. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys all enjoyed the video. If you did, consider leaving a like. Thank you all so much for listening, and I hope you guys all have a wonderful day.